Good morning, it's good to see you. I really do welcome people coming up to me and saying I'm a subscriber or I watch your videos. I'm really quite flattered, to be honest, that people take that much interest in it. But I was just walking through the Hay Street Mall, lamenting to myself that I'm having difficulty finding people to talk with. When should a gentleman by the name of Bob, hi Bob.
Hey, how you going?
Bob was kind enough to wave me down and let me ask him a few questions. Bob, you were saying you're sort of travelling a bit yourself. You're based out of Singapore, or you're something in Singapore?
Yeah, we're based here in Perth initially, but we do have a place in Singapore. So
yeah.
My wife's Singaporean,
okay.
and she travels back quite a lot. And when any chance and opportunity that I get, we go over together. So we do spend a fair bit of time over in the Southeast Asia areas.
When was the last time you were in Bali? You've been to Bali a few times.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to Bali. I'd say it's probably a good 6 or 7 years since then. We just recently came back from Thailand. We went and spent a bit of time in Thailand, but Bali's on the cards for June.
Is Bali somewhere you would consider retiring to, Bob?
It is. At the moment we're looking at different options, around the Southeast Asian area. So one of the reasons we're going to Bali is to do a bit of a recce and see whether it's something that might suit us.
Can I ask you which sort of places you've sort of narrowed it down to? Which one sort of might fill the ticket for you?
Yeah, at the moment we're sort of targeting sort of more the northern part. And that's so because it's not so touristy. We're not interested in going into the heavy tourist areas. So we're looking for somewhere that's a little bit quieter, somewhere that it's away from the maddening crowds and a little bit more genuine as far as the culture. A
bit more authentic. Yeah. No, I understand that completely. And you're based up in Shark Bay. You're doing up there, yeah. How did you come across Shark Bay as a place? Because it's quite remote.
It is. I came across it about 3.5 years ago when I was up there doing a consultancy contract. Yeah. And I'm fortunate enough that I've picked up the job there, so I'm now the general manager of the operation up there. And we live in Shark Bay, and it's in Eustace Loop. And strangely enough,
butt of many jokes over the years.
And it is a real place. It's lovely. It suits us very nicely.
And one last question. While we were sitting down there earlier and talking, you mentioned something about Ukraine. You were in the Ukraine. How long ago? Because there was the war, obviously.
Yeah. We were in the Ukraine for just on 10 years, and we left probably 2 years after the rebels sort of encroached into the Donbass area of Ukraine. It was about 400 kilometres from where we were living. So we decided it was time to move out before things got too hostile.
Yeah.
And then we went from there. And we went and lived in Siberia for several years after that. So we went from Ukraine to and back to Russia, and now back to Oz again.
You're an authentic traveller, I think, Bob.
Yeah, we do a bit.
You do.
Yes.
Can I just thank you for taking the time, mate? I know it's a bit of an inconvenience for me to put that on you, but I really appreciate it.
More than welcome, Wayne.
Thank you so much.
Very nice to meet
you. Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Can I just mention too? This isn't the Bob I made reference to in the last video. The guy that sort of made the mistake of moving to Bali. We got to make sure people don't pin this Bob to that Bob. So it's not him. Sorry, what was your name?
Ruben, nice to meet you.
Ruben, you too. Thanks so much for giving me some of your time on your way to your meeting. Ruben, I detect a bit of an accent there. Can I? Is it Dutch?
Very close actually. It's from Germany.
From Germany?
Yes. But I grew up in Belgium, so it might be because of that. Yeah.
Oh, I see. How long in Perth now?
Actually just a couple of weeks, not even 2 weeks. So I'm just brand new, getting things sorted and heading to a job interview now.
Oh really? You've hit the ground running, Ruben?
I mean, I try to, as fast as I can.
This isn't your first experience overseas by the sounds of things?
No, but like I have been traveling just like discovering things. This is the first time I'm traveling for getting a job properly and settling in. So
can I ask what was the reason to choose Australia of all the countries in the world?
Multiple, to be honest. Like I've always had this dream for a long time, which kind of sounds like a cliche as well, but the lifestyle and stupid as it might sound, the weather.
We've welcomed you with some warm weather, Ruben. I hope your dorm or wherever you're staying is air conditioned. It's been quite warm.
Yeah, it's quite warm right now.
Can I be intrusive and ask what kind of work you're looking at doing?
For now, to get things started, I have to do my 88 days.
In rural areas?
Yeah, exactly, because I'm on a working holiday. But I studied engineering, so eventually I will look into that industry for sure.
Ruben, you've been so very generous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Hugo, 3 simple questions. I'm Bali based. I want to know, can you tell me Bali's main beach name?
Well, I've been there many times, but the main beach itself, I couldn't tell you.
Most popular?
Most popular? Maybe Bingin?
Bingin. It's a great surfers beach, Bingin. The main one is Kuta Beach.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know Bali's capital city name?
Would it be Denpasar?
Well done. It is indeed Denpasar. Third and final question. Do you know the underlying religion of the people that live in Bali, as opposed to Indonesia at large?
Yeah. Buddhist?
They're actually Hindu.
Yeah. I get mixed up.
Sorry, I've forgotten your name already.
Me too. I'm Hugo.
Sorry, Hugo. Hugo, you're Australian? No, I detected an accent.
I became Australian, but I'm French.
Congratulations.
Thank you
welcome,
so much.
welcome. We don't actually have that many French people in Perth, do we? Is there an expat community of French people?
Yeah, it's pretty decent. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you think French people are drawn to Australia? The money. It's that simple. Are you an engineer?
No. I'm partly, let's say, part-time freelancing in the event and sport industry.
Oh, coordinating venues and that type of thing.
Backstages for artists or
Really?
sports people.
That sounds very exciting to me,
Yeah.
being around the entertainers and the performance venues. Plus, I imagine you get to see lots of free shows as well.
Correct. It's only free because I gave my time for it.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for your time. You've been really generous. I really
No problem.
appreciate it.
All the best.
Best of luck in your future endeavours, and I hope.
Maybe we will cross paths in Bali.
I certainly hope so. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. It's fair to say waking up this morning didn't give me the greatest start to the day. I went on to my online banking to check the many thousands that I dream about YouTube sending me each month to find that there'd been 2 transactions at 4 a.m. from Singapore, which had taken significant amounts of money from my account. It's my main account, and flying out in 4 days back to Bali has created a little bit of stress in trying to replace the card and get things organised. What's disconcerting for me is that this is the second time this has occurred in the space of 6 months, and I'm not entirely sure how they're doing it. I have the right things in place to protect it, or so I thought, and I can only pin it back to one transaction I did in Asia online, which was probably foolhardy of me to even do that in the first place. So I won't be in the future using my card at all in Asia again. I promised myself I wasn't going to do that because it had happened before, and I just got lazy. So hopefully that card will be back in a couple of days. Unfortunately, the money won't be for at least 40 days, and that's, while it's not going to alter the plan of the trip. It's just, you know, it's not in your bank account, is it? And you're not even 100% sure they're going to authorise it. So yeah, I remember last time I was in Perth, we had a discussion about money and the best way to travel with money and the best ways to move money and take money out while you're over there. And it seemed to me that the overwhelming vast majority of people that responded to my interest in what people were using are using Wise. I'm not entirely sure how long it will take to set this card up, but it seems to be a pretty fail-safe way in which to use or take money out, because apparently you can turn it off. You can restrict all use after you've made your transaction. So I think I'll be going to that. But yeah, not the ideal way to start the morning. Somewhat surprisingly for me, invariably all the subscribers I meet, and I meet quite a number of them, they're all interested in my backstory and my history. I also receive emails from people wanting to know more about, you know, my personal life, and there's also some comments on the videos that sort of ask certain questions. So what I thought I'd do is perhaps answer or address a couple of them that are sort of more recurring, if you will. So I was born in New South Wales. And a couple of years later my parents loaded up the XP Falcon and drove across the Nullarbor, which wasn't sealed at the time, as my father had got work in the northwest on the mines. Even back in those days, people were coming over to the mines. The car broke down in a place called Bunbury, which is about 200 kilometres south of Perth, and the rest is history. At the age of 19, I left Bunbury and I spent a couple of years hitchhiking around Australia, working on fishing boats or labouring, getting work where I could, but trying to see the country. I came back and settled into sort of sales jobs, I guess, and I was always travelling, whether I was going over to Bali, but I was more sort of set in Perth. I'd been in the publishing advertising business or working for people in the advertising and publishing game for a while, and a friend of mine moved to the city and I started a business with him. We'd been in business for a couple of years when I had a stroke. I had a transient ischemic attack. I was 40 years of age, and having an event like that sort of crystallises things a little bit in your life. So I decided at that point that I couldn't put off the travel any longer. I'd been intermittently going away and travelling to places I wanted to go, but I decided that travel was going to now be my focus, because, you know, when you have those sorts of experiences, it sort of really gives you a laser focus on what's important and what you want to do in life. So I sold my share of the business to my friend, and I had to work out a way in which to sustain myself while I was travelling. So the conclusion I came to, it would be best for me to get some seasonal work. There's lots of seasonal work in Western Australia, and I set upon getting a job with a company called CBH. This company takes all the grain from farmers once a year and heaps it in big bins and then trains it out to the ports. During that time, 2,500 casuals are required, and for the next 7 or 8 years I came back to Perth around October, November, worked for a couple of months, 6-7 days a week, 12 hours a day. We were sort of given accommodation on site, so we didn't have rent, the bills were paid, just had some food to take care of. So it was quite easy to save a significant amount of money, which would cover you for the next sort of 8 or 9 months while you're traveling. And I did that for quite a while. I decided then that the work was becoming a little bit more difficult in 40-degree heat, doing labouring work. As you get a bit older, it's not so much that you can't do it, but you just can't be bothered doing it. You know, you're too old for that sort of caper. So I gave it up and went back to sort of freelancing for publishing companies and food companies, and just doing a bit of consulting and picking up bits and pieces here and there, which got us to this point where now I've decided that YouTube is going to be my focus and where I sort of try and generate an income from. Another question I'm asked often is wife and children. I have never been married, I've never had children. I understood at quite a young age that for me having a wife and children, the responsibilities and commitments that go along with that, would have been a little suffocating. I had always the desire to roam and sort of, oh, that wind's a little bit strong. I've always had this this gypsy spirit, this need to move, to continue to move, and I haven't taken a deep dive into the psychology of it, but for whatever reasons I like to have this capacity or the freedom to move and go whenever I like. So I understood that, you know, by having a wife and the responsibility of children, that probably wouldn't be possible. So I haven't gone down that road. The other thing, of course, being that there's not too many 57, 60-year-old women who want to be traipsing around behind a guy going through Indonesia, Nepal or India either, I have to say. Although having said that, it's been a bit of a revelation to me that quite a number of subscribers are sort of ladies, women in that age group, and they're sort of drifting about a little bit as well. So never say never, it may happen. Another question I'm often asked is, where else would I like to travel? And I have to admit, I think my exploration days are done. I've got to the point where I've discovered places that I really, really like, and I'm quite happy and quite content to go back there. In connection to that question, another one I was asked, which I thought was an interesting one, was if Bali wasn't an option, if for some reason it was submerged under the ocean or it just wasn't there anymore, where would you go? And I found myself coming down to two places: Pokhara in Nepal, and also Thailand. I'm not exactly sure where in Thailand, probably Koh Phangan. The reasons are similar. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for affordable cost of living, because I'm not a super wealthy guy. And I'm also looking for people that are sort of generous in spirit, kind and warm, and the Nepalese particularly so. I think with Thailand, generally the people are very, very warm and kind, but it depends on where you go. It doesn't matter where I've been in Nepal, everyone's been really, really warm and friendly and welcoming all the time. So if Bali wasn't available as a destination to me, you'd probably find me in Pokhara, I think. Well, that's about it for this one. Thanks very much to the subscribers that came up and introduced themselves to me today. I had some wonderful chats with a few people that follow the channel. It was really, really good people. As always, thanks very much for coming along. I hope you're well and happy in life and doing the things you want to do. We'll see you soon.